congratulations on the film. I really loved every moment of it. So beautifully detailed. And I have to admit, I wiped away a few tears at the end.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes.
Glad
I just
to hear
wondered, Brad, how far that sort of emotional aspect was always part of the plan for Storks.
I mean, one of the things that in our storytelling that we try to do, certainly in the movies that I've been a part of, is they have to culminate in something that's meaningful to you emotionally, or they're not worth making. They really aren't. So we want to have a ton of fun and make you sort of laugh and lose yourself in the movie, but we want to hit your heart somewhere where it counts, whether or not you're an adult, whether or not you're a kid, whatever your situation. So absolutely, we really, the plan was to try to get to a place where everybody would go, I get that.
Gosh, that's so good. This is something I remember from my youth. There's William Faulkner, when he accepted the Nobel Prize for Literature, took the opportunity to basically say to young writers, always write about matters of the heart. Because if you don't, what you're writing about means nothing. Anything else you write about doesn't even have any actual meaning. So that's why we make movies.
Yep.
Same thing.
And Kelsey, you've worked in animation quite a bit.
Yeah.
I just wondered how it changed things getting to work face to face with Andy Samberg on this one, how that changed things. Yes.
He's got a funny face. It's a good face. It's a lovely face. We had a nice time. It was sort of like a hail fellow, well met. Clearly a young man of talent and humor, and when you work with somebody you've never worked with before, it's just sort of you discover them. It's like it's a presumptive joy.
And how about finding Hunter's voice? Can you tell us a little bit about the character?
Hunter's voice is basically, of course, it's my voice. You recognize it as such, but it's a little. The tone is a little bit different. I'm ripping off Rip Torn. That's who I'm doing. Rip Torn in Men in Black, basically.
And do you have any particular rituals for warming up your voice before you do voice work? And do you find yourself maybe sliding into any previous characters?
You know what? I really don't. I don't seem to have. I mean, look. Arguably, people will look at any performance I do and say, "Oh, that sounded just like Frasier," or "This sounds like that one," or whatever. You don't rely on that because it's the same instrument. It's all coming out of the same place. I mean, I can do a funny accent or, change things, change the timbre a little bit. But most people will say, oh, that's Kelsey Grammer's voice. But they're either willing to accept that you can play something else or not.
And Brad, you've seen Cars animated, Ants animated, for instance. How sort of naturally does Storks, maybe the babies and the wolves as well, lend themselves to being animated?
It's funny, whenever we design a character first, and then we sort of endeavor to find the right actor that will bring that character to life. So whether or not it's the rat in Ratatouille, or whether or not it's a stork, or whether or not it's a human, what we're hoping is that in our imagination, because that's all we have when we write these scripts, and then we draw the character in our imagination, how this character might come to life, that the actor will bring it. And Key and Peele brought it for Wolves. Kelsey brought it for Hunter. And so we're blessed to have some of the best actors in the world willing to do our movies. We really are.
And as I mentioned at the beginning, I definitely wiped away a few tears at the end of this film. I just wondered if there are any animated films that you watched either growing up or more recently that have had a big emotional impact on you.
Well, if Bambi or Dumbo don't, they touch you, right, in a very emotional way. Jungle Book is just pure joy and fun, and you're on a ride with Baloo as a character who's probably like the guy you wish was your uncle. So there's those formative movies, animated movies when I was growing up that they had a huge impact on me, both emotionally.
Funny. I think now, you don't think of it, Ariel, you think of Beauty and the Beast. I mean, Beauty and the Beast works in the old Cocteau version as well, but the animated film, and love transforms. I mean, it does, and the best place to see that take place is usually in an animated movie, because they're not afraid of it. They're not afraid to help you cry a little bit or to affirm life's experience as being something worthwhile. That's why I like the G rating. The world of the G rating is animated film today, and I think they're the best movies made because they're about something. They're about the human heart. They're about life, love, transformation, what you can become, and if things are just the right blend of stuff happens in your life, and you can transcend your destiny.
Brad, Kelsey, thanks very much.
You bet.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey, you guys!